Hey, hi, hello, welcome to the Monica Show with our special guest Alexis Lessard.
Oh, hi.
Is it Lessard?
Lessard, yeah,
okay,
actually.
Okay, sick. So Alexis joined us in our previous video, and she is back again, and she's really freaking awesome. She is one of my closest friends. So Alexis decided to be up for MOTO Tip Monday, and today we're gonna share 3 tips with you guys, and we're just gonna jump on into the video. For tip number 1, our tip is to tape your nipples. Which is really funny. This is more so geared towards men because my husband, Jacob, tapes his nipples when he goes riding. The reason in doing so is because he doesn't have the extra layer of
a sports bra.
So it literally rubs his nipple raw. So when he tapes that, it puts like forth a second layer so it protects him from feeling that pain. I've never experienced it, but this is also in conjunction with if you wear too small of a chest protector, it can literally rub your back bra.
Ooh.
Back raw. I said back bra.
You did.
Back raw. And I experienced it a couple of years ago. Like I would regularly like wear my sports bra, and on top of it, I would wear like my chest protector, and my back was like raw. It had like cuts across it. It was kind of disgusting. So if you are a male and you guys are struggling with hurting nipples, tape them up, and that's gonna solve your problem. So that's tip number 1. I hope you guys enjoyed that tip. For MOTO tip number 2 is going to be the attack position, getting your elbows up, arms up. These guys, right? Yeah. Give me some elbow.
I like your weirdness.
Thanks, I like yours too. So why is it important for us to have our elbows up? It is because you have better leverage for the bike. So in woods racing specifically, it's just easier for you to maneuver the bike in whichever way you want the bike to go. You can squeeze in through those tight trees. Elbows up, attack position is always the way to go. What about motocross, Alexis?
Yeah, for motocross, it's important to keep your arms up, same, like you said, attack position. I guess when I think about having my arms up, I guess we were talking about it's important to keep your arms up, but also loose. So, when I first started doing motocross, I think something I did wrong was, or not wrong, but just was doing, was I was squeezing so much. I actually, if you talk to some of the people on my first couple of rides, it actually felt like I was in a small car accident. It was sad. Like I could barely move my neck because I was like...
Because you're tense, right?
I was squeezing
yeah.
so hard. Also, my handlebar position is a different tip, but my handlebar position was further out because I bought it from a guy who was bigger than me. So I actually moved my handlebars. That actually made a huge difference too.
That is also a very easy fix, by the way. You can adjust your handlebars with the little clamps and you can move them forward or backwards. Another tip, I guess this is going to turn into a bonus tip.
Yeah.
If you race woods versus moto guys like to have their bars like straight forward, I'm pretty sure, like straight on. And same with their levers. So that way they have like better...
Just quick, like...
Yeah. Whereas woods, we kind of like to have them like turned inward. So when we're standing on top of the bike, we have better leverage that way.
Yeah, I could maybe, I would be
lower.
curious why that would be. Maybe it was because of, maybe you guys stand up more than us?
Yes, we should.
We stand too pretty much most of the time, but could have something to do with that.
Yeah. It's just interesting to me like how moto and woods are...
Same but different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a thing that's honestly like taken me a really long time to grasp because even to this day, I'm like, oh, it's the same. You're riding a dirt bike, but it's completely 2 different, separate things.
I mean, my pinky's just finally feeling normal after riding without a bark buster. I'll tell you that. I smashed. Like, that's something I don't have to worry about in motocross.
Because there's no
different
trees.
Injuries.
Right?
But this time, I just barely clipped the tree, and it wouldn't have really hurt that bad, but when a metal bar smashes your finger between your grip, like... My pinky has been sore for like a month.
And I completely, like, that's a friend fail because I should have been like, oh, do you need some bark busters?
I didn't know that was a thing. Now I'm...
Bark busters are a thing in woods, yeah.
Another tip.
Bark busters, yeah. We'll leave that for the next week's video. But that's basically tip number 2, making sure that you are in the attack position, making sure that your elbows are up so you can leverage.
And don't squeeze too much, like with your arms. Like, you know, people talk about arm pump and there's all these special like mechanisms for arm pump, but I'm just a big believer in that people, you know, you need to realize that a lot of it comes from your lower body. I mean, even I grew up riding horses, and you know, the slight, you know, just with anything, the slight movement, a touch with your right leg or your left, it makes a big difference. And not difference, but just a slight movement makes a huge overall movement when you're going on a turn. So just learning, being strong and being tight and using your legs and lower body, and then your arms are complementing it. They're not steering the ship, they're complementing it, and they should be loose. You should be able to move the front tire in your arms while squeezing on the bike. Because
the way you're steering your dirt bike is because you're grasping the gas tank with your inner knees and your legs being inward from our last week's tip. So then the arms, like Alexis said, just complements it and they go with the flow. But don't like grip it to the point where you get...
I mean, like, I seriously was arm pump, and I thought, I mean... It was very laughable how injured I was. I could barely turn my neck. I mean,
I was the same way. Yeah. Like, I will insert a photo with you guys, like, in here for you guys to see, where I'm wearing pink boots and I'm literally off the starting grid at my first FTR race, and like my arms are like here. But that's because I never had anybody to teach me like the proper position, the proper form, which I think I could have benefited back then. I literally learned my form from just like watching people, watching photos, and then taking one off-road like class. So yeah.
And again, take photos of yourself, because you like, there's so many times I thought I was doing something and then I saw a picture of myself and I was like, well, that's humbling. Okay, that's where we're
this
at.
This is what I need to adjust.
Yeah, so
on that note, let's move on to tip number 3. Love this for us. Tennis ball.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Okay. Tip number 3 is going to be a tip that came straight from Alexis at the MOTO track, which is using a tennis ball over your foot peg. So how many of us have unloaded our dirt bikes and then the foot pegs get our shins? I've been there.
Shank the shin. Shank the shin.
It is not comfortable. So Alexis is going to tell us the importance of why you would want to put a tennis ball over your foot peg. And
well, when I'm unloading several times, I'm so focused on, in the beginning I was really nervous about unloading and loading, so I was so focused on that I wasn't really thinking about my shins. And as I'm coming down, the bike's coming down and I stop, and the peg goes right into my knee. I bled so many times. A good friend of mine gave me a tip. He cut he took a tennis ball, cut it kind of in half, then you can open it kind of like Pac-Man, there we go. Like a Pac-Man.
Like old people put this on their strollers too.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but yeah.
Same concept. I think they probably cut it exactly the same way. Same method.
Sick.
Could, be, talk to your grandparents if you need to know how to cut the tennis ball. They might know.
Just plop it on your foot peg.
Yeah. And then you just literally put it on. It's just really nice because it actually did save me from, hurting my shins. And you can get tennis balls from the dollar store, so don't be crazy and be paying a bunch for, nothing.
And honestly, I never heard of this tip. And then she's like, do you want my tennis ball? I'm like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, wait, what is that at first? But then when she showed it to me, I'm like, that is a genius idea, because I can tell you how many times I have gotten a foot peg to my shin and bled. Like,
it hurts.
It's not.
Yeah. And then it's not even that. It's like the next 4 days, every time you hit your knee on something, you're like, oh,
don't love that for us. So that is all for today's MOTO Tip Monday with Monica and with Alexis. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below, and we'll catch up with you guys next time. Bye.